what is consciousness, because the rate that AI is going, like at some point people are arguing that it's going to create its own consciousness and it'll be like its own separate entity, and it'll be almost like Terminator kind of thing.
Yeah. And then they were sending all those condoms down there for what reason? I don't know why.
I heard that they use those condoms to make bombs.
Yeah, to use like yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's what.
Hey everybody, my name's Adam Bauman. I'm here with my good friends Ari Gamboa and James Pleasant. Welcome.
What's up, Adam?
How's it going?
So guys, tell me, how'd you all meet?
He's my dog. I've known him since he was like
He's my neighbor.
15. He's my neighbor too.
Yeah.
Known him since he was like, what? Was he 15?
Yeah, I was
14?
15, so I was wrestling at Franklin High School, and then I had a real good friend, his name's Randy, and I was working at CEC Entertainment. Have you been before?
Nope.
So it's like they got a bar, they got a stage, entertainment, gambling.
And he was there at 15 too, so.
It was Chuck E. Cheese.
I didn't even know you were from here.
Yeah, I'm born and raised El Paso, dog. 915.
I had no idea.
But yeah, no. So anyway, my homie was working at Peter Piper. I was working at Chucky. And he said, hey, let's do fighting. And I was like, I'm down. And then so we went to this garage and everybody over there was training. And that's how I met Adi and them.
Yeah, I was in from college there at Texas State. And I'd been fighting since I was like 14. And met James, got along, saw he had a lot of talent, a lot of good drive, and he had a good attitude about life. Seemed like a cool kid. So, I left, kept in touch with him, had his fighting career going. Came back in town, started a growing dispensary out here. That's what I was out of town doing, out in Colorado. We got some licenses out in Chicago. And got back, reconnected with James, and then we started training again. And just hang out and enjoy life.
Nice, man.
It was actually pretty funny. He came back and he's like, because he'd always be, I called him a gypsy because he'd be like coming in and out and all this and that. I'm here now, I'm there now. And then he's like, I'm moving back for good. And I was like, no, you're not. And he's like, I am. And I was like, no, you're not. And sure enough, here we are.
How long were you gone for?
Like, I'd say probably like 12 years.
Oh, well.
I graduated and took off and traveled, started growing weed.
I want to backtrack. Did you say CEC? Did you say Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got that.
Yeah. It just went over your head, huh?
Yeah,
And then
that's
people
funny.
are always like, wait, he's not lying. They do have a bar. They do have a stage. They do got entertainment and gambling.
That's good. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, he was slanging and banging from a young age.
Yeah, showbiz life.
Awesome. Now, where do you guys train at now?
The same place we met, actually.
Yeah, we got it's a hangar. We have a team called the Yokai. And we have like a cage in there. We decked it out. At first it was just mats and bags, and we had pads and stuff like that. Not that much mat space, but we got hooked up with a cage by Santino DeFranco. He's Henry Cejudo's coach.
Nice.
So we went up to Arizona. We trained at Fight Ready, and then we picked up a cage, brought that cage back, and now it's at our spot. And it's like a 36 by 36 cage, so it's a pretty big cage. There's only about 5 of us, and then including me, it's 6. So we have plenty of space there. No one gets hurt, rolling into someone else, and the mat's overcrowded. Easy to keep it clean, easy to maintain it, and it's our spot where we go and kind of get better. And we go and cross train with other spots like Bushido martial arts. We would go to SVG and go spar there sometimes. We go to Zia sometimes out in.
Yeah, I was like, if we're doing shout outs like Black Sheep too,
Black
10
Sheep.
Planet sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, Gracie too.
Yeah, Gracie. So we go to pretty much a good grip of the gyms that we go to out here, like a bunch of the owners and stuff like that. And then we do cross train quite a bit too. Like we'll go out to Colorado. We train out there at high altitude.
And 303.
And then 303 Jiu-Jitsu. And then we go to Fight Ready out in Arizona and Scottsdale.
Nice, man.
And then a couple spots in Dallas. We've been out there too.
Yeah, with Terrence McKinney and Kevin Holland.
He's our homie. Terrence is our homie.
Terrence is a very good guy.
Yeah.
Very good guy.
He just won his last fight too.
Yeah, he did a good job too.
He did a great job. Amazing.
Yeah, he got a new team. He's out in Florida now, so he did a really good job.
You got a fight coming up, don't you?
Yeah, it's going to be in May. So May 31st. And we were just talking about it. It's going to be the debut for 2 of the guys that we've been training with. So it'll be 4 of us on the card. Myself, Jack, Adrian, and Jacob. So
Nice.
It's gonna be a busy night. It's gonna be a lot.
And where's it at?
it's going to be in Las Cruces. So I'll be defending my belt. 2 of them will have their debuts. And then Jack, it'll be his 3rd fight. And his first fight was back in November?
December.
December? So like 3 fights in like less than 5 months is pretty good.
Yeah, he's gonna stay active.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, what's your fight record?
My fight record right now is 5-1 pro. So yeah, we're trying to get there, man. Woo! Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, trying to shoot for hopefully the Contender Series coming up later this year. So James got to get a couple more wins and show that he's been active. Last year he went 4-0, and it was in like 9 months. He was fighting basically every like 2.1 months. Did a good job, went 4-0, and then we had Jack fight at the end of the year, and he won by arm triangle, and he's a striker. So for him to win with the arm triangle, especially from the mount, that was like. But he broke the guy first, you know.
Oh,
he,
yeah.
He beat the shit out of him.
It was hilarious. We were like, we beat him in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, like, even the ref was like, guys, calm down.
We're like, you beat him in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, it's big if you're a striker, right?
Yeah, because he has a boxing background, but man, he's pretty well-rounded. Like his kicks are good. We're getting his floor work real good, and like for him to like just beat that guy up so bad that he wanted to give up, and that's what my dad always says. You gotta make him want to quit, you know.
And he broke him.
Awesome.
Yeah, he broke the
He's
guy.
headlining this weekend, actually. March 1st at the Shrine Almeida, or is it the no?
Yeah, you said it.
Almeida
Shrine Almeida.
right? Yeah, that's where.
That's this weekend?
Yeah, March 1st. He's the main event, and he's fighting against some guy from Las Cruces, who he has a lot more fights than Jack, but he ain't a dog like Jack. Jack's a dog, you know. So.
And you all going to be there?
Oh yeah,
course.
we're in his corner with his coaches,
Yeah,
so we'll be in his corner, telling him what to do.
Try to make it out for that one.
Yeah, making sure he does good.
it's awesome that he's headlining, but man, it does suck that you have to be there the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Yes, man.
Yeah, we get there like at what? It's like 4:30.
Oh, wow.
And then sometimes they don't end till like 11, sometimes past that. So it's like 6 hours of just being in the back waiting for a 9-minute fight, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, see, like in New Mexico, it's kind of good because he normally headlines them, his main event. So in New Mexico, they actually let us show up a little bit later, which is cool. But you know, here, nah. Texas, show up on time, stay there all day, and so it kind of gives. You could kind of mind fuck yourself too if you're weak-minded back there. You're like, fuck,
Oh, yeah.
I'm back
Plenty
here.
of time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm back here for 4 hours, 5 hours. Fuck.
Yeah.
I got a fight coming up. Like, oh, you know, you get in your own brain.
Yeah.
So, but he does a good job. He chills, takes it easy.
We keep it jolly, man.
Yeah.
And this guy is the great. Like, we had a fight out in Oklahoma, and I just like to take a nap and stuff. So I'm sleeping, and then my dad brought a cot. And so, like, everybody's sleeping on tables. I'm sleeping on a cot. I wake up, and he's like, look what I got you. He gets a fan. And he's just
I got a fan. I got a mini split. And granted, it was like 102 degrees in there, and they only had 4 fans. And it was weird because, like, all the corners were in the same area.
they normally split them. You
Yeah.
don't have the guy you're fighting in the back warming up with you. You normally in a different area.
Yeah, so they had four fans, and I was like, boom. So I jacked the fan, and I put the fan right there, and then I went to the back, and it was a farmer's market, so I found like a mini split. So I was like, all right, cool. So I put that there. So like we were chilling in like 72-degree weather when everyone else was like in 102-degree heat in there. And I tried jacking the TV
I know, and the guy
because the
was...
fights were on that night, and so I tried jacking the TV so we could like stream the fights on it. And he was like a recovering meth head, right, James?
he didn't say
Yeah,
what
meth.
he
He
was
said meth.
on,
He
but
said
he was
meth.
recovering from something.
He said meth.
Okay.
He was from Oklahoma too. So.
But he's like, you're lucky I had my mantra or whatever he had
He had
today.
a beer.
He had a beer.
He
He's
said
like,
he's lucky. We're lucky that he had 1 beer today.
because he's like, I was about to relapse on your ass right now, and it was just like, okay. So we
Yeah.
had to give the TV back.
Yeah.
But man, we like to have a good time in the back. Like
we
for
got our
ex-
haircuts done.
we got haircuts because we were supposed to get haircuts before, but then the guy it just didn't work out, and then he calls and he's like, wait, you're a fighter and this and that. I'm like, yeah, I'm headlining here and da da da. And he's like, can I come to you? And we asked the commission. They said we don't care. So literally, like maybe an hour before my fight, everyone's warming up in the back and we're getting haircuts.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, that's the funniest we ever seen, you know?
You gotta look good for the win, right?
Exactly, bro.
What about Adrian? Is he fighting?
Adrian's fighting May 31st, and then so is Jacob. So we're gonna have probably a 125 to 135er, depending on where we get Jacob's weight, and then Adrian's gonna be a 135er. They'll be both making their debut. So I'm gonna try and get them on early in the card, So James will show up a little bit later. I'll have to be there all day, obviously. So get them ready to go, get them in, get the win. James shows up, takes his nap, have the guys win, go off with some good momentum. And then we'll have Jack fighting as well. That'll be his third fight. He should be 2-0, ready to go. And we don't have opponents for them yet, but James just did get his opponent signed. So it was hard to find him a fight. We're trying to get James a fight. Actually, we had 3 fights fall out. Some guys didn't want to take the fight with James.
Really?
We had a guy who was 10-3 that didn't want to fight James. And, we're trying to get fights, which is kind of hard out here. So we had the opportunity when this guy said yes on another promotion, but they didn't have the availability for us. So we basically were like, we called the promoter. We're like, hey, dude, this guy already said yes, done deal. We don't got to find anyone else. And so he sent them the contract and apparently signed it yesterday. So tickets should be coming out hopefully in April or something like that. And get ready to sell the tickets, promote it and do all that stuff.
And it's a big venue. It's going to be at the Pan Am Center where they play the basketball games at NMSU.
Nice.
So yeah, we hope the whole city can go out, both Las Cruces and El Paso. And I went to NMSU too, so I'm gonna be like, hey, all my Aggies.
That's awesome. Hey, so you were searching for somebody to defend your title against, is that it?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
They're too scared. Yeah.
They
don't want to take the fight, right? They don't want to take the fight.
Whatever.
He's got 2 titles as well. So we got one in New Mexico and we got one in Arizona.
Nice.
So, yeah, the goal was to get one in Texas. And we were going to try and get one in Texas in February, but then that fight fell through. So we wanted to get one in Texas because that's our home state and represent Texas. And that'll be the Southwest is Arizona, New Mexico, Texas.
Oklahoma, right?
I think Oklahoma, and I think even Colorado is considered the Southwest.
Oh, wow.
So we would have a bout ideally in 3 of the 5 or 6 states that are considered the Southwest on Tapology.
Nice, man.
So we'll see where that goes. But yeah, we got some big plans this year. Get the guys a lot of fights. And we went 6-0 last year, and this year we're planning to keep that streak going. And just keep on winning.
Speaking of training, you talked to Celso?
Yeah, I talked to Celso the other day. I talked to him on Facebook quite a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we messaged back and forth. Celso's a good guy. That dude was an animal. So actually, when I met James, it was a little bit after that. There was a Caesar, our good friend. He had a gym, and Celso was there, and they would make us run. Caesar would make us all run laps. And Celso, this old man with fucked up knees, and dude, this dude would just huff it, dude, boom, 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 and just he'd beat everyone. And I was like, oh shit, who's this guy? And he was broken already, but he would just outrun everyone, outpace everyone. And that's basically how I met you, is through Celso.
Yep.
So yeah, Celso's a good guy. He's a homie. Hopefully you could get him on the podcast here.
Yeah, no, he was actually the last time.
Yeah.
He was the first one.
Oh, see, he beat us.
You guys, imagine Celso, me and Celso on the same Vortac team, right?
Yeah.
So, the first time I met Celso, I'm like, yeah, okay. He doesn't look like much.
Yeah, he's a
right?
killer.
And then we go for a run, and he just outdoes everybody. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah,
he works hard.
He's an animal.
Yeah, teamwork is big deal,
Yep.
I bet you in Vortec too. You got to trust the guy right next to you because you're going in to do some shit, I bet.
Yeah, no, for sure. But it's good to have a guy that, it's going to put out 100%.
Hell yeah. Puts out 110%.
Yeah. Nice.
But yeah, so thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah, no, of course, dude.
It's awesome to be here.
Now, what's the plan after that, after this next fight?
Contender Series, that's where we're trying to go. I think they're in August, right? That's when
they start in
together.
August.
So if this fight's in May, there's a possibility of getting another fight in between. Ideally, you want to get as much fights as possible. When you look, for example, we applied for the Ultimate Fighter. We didn't make the final selection.
Really?
Yeah. And then, but when you look on there, these guys got 6-1 all the way to 12-0 or something like that. And
they were welterweights. James is a lightweight.
Yeah, I was going to bump up a weight class because it's hey, man, I think it's the 7th most watched show in the world. So it's we got to get on that somehow. Yeah. We got to get on that. But either way, there's always going to be, if there's a will, there's a way. So.
Oh, of course, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and networking is pretty big. You got to be good with the right people. Make sure that, you can go and train places and people actually want you there. You know, you're an addition and not a subtraction.
Right.
You're not going to go there and be like, oh, fuck, they're here. All our guys are going to get hurt. Or, you know. So the goal is to go and do work, take the team to do work, but obviously respect your training partners and do that. So when we go and train at other places, that's one thing that I think the coaches kind of see, with James especially. He takes care of his sparring partners, and we're not going in there with a big ego. We're not trying to, like, you know, hey, this is us. Oh, we fought this guy. And, you know, James is going in there to get good work and show that he's a good training partner so we can be welcome back, you know? And so that's the key.
Mindset is key, man. Like, exactly what he said, because I've trained at a lot of places and whatnot, and I'm just really grateful that what we have now is just very small. The people we invite in, we trust them. You know, everybody gets along. We all love each other, whatever. And it's just one of those environments where it's not toxic, where it's just like, leave your ego at the door. There's so many places we go to where it's like, I guess you call them gym heroes, where it's they'll never compete, or if they do compete, they crack under the pressure. But when they're at the gym, they're gonna look for like the weakest guy there, like the whatever, and they're gonna just beat their ass, post it online, and be like, I'm awesome. And it's just like, come on, man, and then just have a bad attitude, and you could just feel the intention when you're here to train, and when someone's here to be like, they just want to hurt you so that you can never train again. You know, it's like, what's wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty easy at our spot because, you know, we have stud wrestlers. James, Adrian, Jacob are stud wrestlers. And then we got Jack and Ramon that are stud boxers. And then James has been doing this forever, so his jiu-jitsu's A1. Adrian's been training since he was 6, so his jiu-jitsu and his wrestling and his hands are A1. And then Baby Bull is a collegiate wrestler. You know, so they kind of feed off each other. And the goal was to make like kind of a melting pot of, you know, different skill sets where one's weak, one's strong, so that they could kind of build off each other. And, you know, we do have a melting pot. We got a white guy, we got 2 black guys.
Oh my God. I knew this was going.
We got
That's awesome.
We got a Cuban-Colombian hybrid, and then 2 Mexicans.
So you really held to the DEI.
Wait, there's 2 black guys.
The DEI initiative.
Equal opportunity ass kickers.
Yeah.
You know? So everyone can get it, you know. So it's good.
He's underrepresenting, bro. There's 2 black people.
Yeah, I said that. I said 2 black people.
Okay.
Yeah, see, that evens it out. And Adrian looks white, but he's not white, so it's like a trick, you know? It's like 2, 2, and 2.
He's a widow.
Yeah, he's a widow.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool because like we all get together, and because everybody has something to offer, there's expertise. So we could say like, hey, one person will say, I saw this move at this last fight or online or whatever, and I want to work it out. And he'll try it, and we're like, what do you think? And it's like, well, if you did that on a wrestler, he'd do this. Well, if you did that to a kicker, they'd do that. And then like we get to modify it where it's like it fits the specific person. And that's what I love about fighting and martial arts sports. It's kind of, you don't need to be super tall, you don't need to be super this, that. It's whatever your body type is, there's a way for you.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, everyone can do it.
So outside of fighting, right? We know you guys kick ass, right? Outside of fighting, I know you guys have dogs. Cause you've seen my dogs. Where you at with your dogs?
Oh, they're big. They're big. My dog's like about 210 pounds. He's a South African Mastiff. James is about probably like 150, 160 pounds. He's the female. We got them brought in. They're great dogs. Like, they're great dogs. And I know you love dogs too, because that's kind of how we met.
Yep.
And so I got to see your dogs in action. I was like, shit, man, I get a big dog that could be that good in action. And that's even better. So yeah, we went and got some dogs, and we take them everywhere with us. You know, like.
Do you really?
Yeah, restaurants know who they are. Like,
if we go to the restaurant without them, they'll say, "Where's your dog?"
Yeah,
what's the dog's name?
My dog's name's Cello, and then his dog's name's Bijou.
And Cello rides in the car.
Yeah, in the car. In the car, he's in the back seat just chilling. I'll pull up, and people will like turn and like look, and then they'll see Cello in the back, and it's just funny, the reaction, you know.
You got a video of Cello?
Let me see.
We need to get that up on.
And it's crazy because Cello is just the friendliest dog ever. He loves people. He loves attention and stuff like that. He gets along with everyone.
But if you don't know you, and if you don't know him, you're like, oh man.
Yeah, you showed up. You showed up the other day.
Oh yeah, he didn't.
Oh, what he stepped up to you or what?
No, he was underneath the stairwell, that little stair in Ari's trailer.
Right.
And he doesn't know me really, you know. So I pulled up and get out, and he was, rawr. Well, you know, once Ari came out and said, hey, everything's okay, you know. Yeah, of course he's friendly.
Okay, so you got a video of him right there. I could send it if you guys want. But yeah, he's a good guy. We take him to Artovino's. We take the dogs to.
And he behaves?
Yeah. He sits down.
That's awesome.
He's a service dog at the time.
Sunny Sushi.
Sunny Sushi.
Pretty much all those spots at the Westtown Market know him.
Yeah, they all know. They expect him to be there. They expect the dogs to be there.
You bring yours with him?
Yeah. I'll bring her sometimes and everything, but like
she's a little bit more of a handful. Huh?
She is, man. She's got prey drive, and like we like to say like he's like the social butterfly, and she's like the why are you talking to me? She has a resting bitch face, you know. But she doesn't snap on anybody or anything like that. But she'll definitely, if people be like, "Could I pet her?" She'll look at them like, "Why do you want to touch me?" And then like she'll like get behind me kind of thing. But we're breaking her out of her shell, and then I have a pit bull at home, and my pit bull is like very, very friendly. So she's kind of understanding that it's like, okay, I guess I have to play nice, you know.
Yeah, she's getting it. And Sala just wants attention.
Yeah.
He sees people and he's like, all right, well, are you going to be nice to me? Or are you going to pet me now? Or are you going to, you know, people want to pet him. And he's a good guy. A lot of people really like Sala.
We should get the bite suits out and do a little training with them.
That's what we want to do.
So I'll do training with my dogs. Like before they get the treat, I'll put it up to their nose and I'll say smell, and then they'll smell it. I'll say lick, they'll lick it, and I'll say bite, and then they'll bite it. And then with my pit bull, I used to get really good with her. We'll play, and I'll have my forearm, and I'll say bite, and then I could get her to do it, but we haven't played like that in a while.
Yeah.
And she's old now. She's about to be 10, so it's like my little girl. I won't have her too much longer, you know.
How long do they typically last? You know, the age.
I don't know. I just know the bigger the dog, the like typically the less the life cycle.
9 to 12 years or something like that.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, Mal's usually 13, 14.
Yeah. Like Adrian had a Cane Corso Pressa mix.
Oh, really?
And
he was like 11, 12?
No, he was old. Yeah, he was like 12, 13 years old.
Right.
And then Abraham had his brother 12, 13 years old. They literally passed away like last year.
Wow.
So they were good dogs too. But it was funny when we got that dog, like when we got Cello and Bijou, kind of saw their dog and we're like, oh man, he's huge. But then we brought Cello around. Cello was still a puppy, and he was just as big as that dog. And we're just like, oh shit, he's gonna be huge.
Yeah, it's crazy because I know Biju's like 140, 150 around that size, and I still see her as a little dog because I'm always looking at Cello. But then other people are like, your dog's huge, and I'm like, I guess she is a big dog. 150 pounds is like a person, you know?
Yeah, Biju's like the perfect height because like I could be like laying down on my sofa watching TV and Biju's right there and I could pet her. Sal wants to sit there, he's gonna block the TV. He's just too tall. It's like he's got a big old dome on him, so you're just like, bro, just put your head down and sit right here. But they always want to be around you, you know, like they love attention, they love us, and they always want to be around us. Yeah. So they're good dogs.
I don't think they know their own size, man. I'm just like, move the hell out the way.
No,
like,
they don't.
Damn,
yeah,
they're so annoying sometimes. I'm like, I need to walk. Why do you got to be like right on my hip?
Yeah, and they just turned 2, so they still have a little bit of that puppy mentality, but they're getting out of it. And Sal's becoming a little bit more of a G.
That's funny. What do you guys think of what's going on in the new administration?
I think the FBI stuff's pretty cool. You know, Cash Patel. Hopefully that dude like releases some shit.
Yeah.
Like hopefully he releases like, because they said that they're gonna release the RFK stuff or the JFK stuff, the MLK stuff, and then what I want to see is that Epstein file. And apparently it was on Pam Bondi's desk the other day. So I'm hoping that they don't redact.
You want to see the names of he was associated with?
Yeah. Hopefully we see all that because, you know, child sex trafficking is fucking evil. You know, like it's not a good thing. And I've seen some videos about like, you know, people when they bring the kids from the border, and you'll see these kids all doped up and messed up, and you're just like, that's evil, you know? And then they have different bands, and you don't know what the bands stand for, but I'm sure it doesn't stand for anything good. Like,
I'm sure.
Like why do they have color coordinated bands? You know, you look at them, they're all messed up. So I think that's a big problem that like is an underlying problem that you know is being facilitated by some bad people. So hopefully that shines a big old light on that stuff, and sex trafficking, you know, child trafficking, that's just like, you should go to hell.
I think the clamp down on the border, I think that'll
big time
be a positive thing.
Yeah, there was something like, I think like 1,800 people, or was it more than that, coming through a day at each spot, and then now it's just like within like the past month, it's been like 300 people. Yeah,
all the shelters that were, you know, basically harboring these people, they're actually having to shut down because there's.
Yeah, and then there was that hotel. Nobody. There was that hotel here in town. James told me about it. Well, it was like, who was it? Tren de Agua that was there?
I don't. Yeah, it was that hotel right by the Stanton Tower. They pretty much had taken it over, the Venezuelan gang, and they had kidnapped a girl and they were making her do sex trafficking and stuff. And she was a local girl, and they just found so much drugs and just bad activity.
They rounded them all up, no?
Yeah, rounded them all, and it's just so bad. And I do like that they're exposing a lot of the corruption, especially because, give it like 10 years ago, it's like, oh, those are all conspiracies. And now it's like, dude, our own president, our own, this and that. It makes me wonder how the people are going to take it, you know what I mean? Because, you could show all the evidence and proof you'd like, but some people are just going to be very like, nope, set in their ways, like, that's not true. And it's kind of like, okay.
Well, there's so much uproar that all this waste, fraud, and abuse is being exposed. But to me, there's a reason why all of these are screaming and hollering, because at some point, there's probably some type of kickback.
It's money laundering. Mm-hmm. Like that U.S. aid. Like they're sending out money to like random shit, and you're just like.
So what's the you guys would call any of the most weirdest outgoing money trail you guys heard of?
Well, I know that the Clinton Foundation was getting a good amount of money.
Yep. And they had like $2 million going to some type of transgender.
Yeah, agenda in Peru.
Yep.
And then they were sending all those condoms down there for what reason, I don't know why.
I heard that they use those condoms to make bombs.
Yeah, to use like
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. And but yeah, there's been like a bunch of stuff that's just like kind of sketchy. What's going on? And then like all that stuff coming out, the COVID vaccine.
Oh, they're gonna get Fauci.
Yeah, I hope they get Fauci, because like there's all.
Well, you received the pardon already, right?
Yeah, but it was a federal pardon.
Oh, okay.
But the states can go after him.
And it's also international. I think Japan wants some, Russia wants some. Like all these other countries are like.
So I think there's like 12 states right now that are putting together like a case on Fauci, and they're suing him to go after him for negligence and for whatever he's done. And, I remember at the beginning, I told people, oh, yeah, dude, this is man-made. And they're like, no, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. And then, boom, it's man-made. Hey, dude, that's not good for you to take because of A, B, C, D. And, like, people are having heart attacks. And if you see it now, it's like a lot of people are passing away right now that are perfectly healthy. And younger generations are getting cancer faster and faster. And that's why, like, RFK Jr., that guy's a G.
Solid work.
Like, hopefully that guy... can fix like a bunch of the food and a bunch of the problems. And he said yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, that he's gonna go like look into all the pesticides that people are spraying on food. Awesome. That the vaccines, all kinds of stuff that he's gonna go after. And I like that, and I think that's better for us as human beings.
Absolutely, anything that make us safer of what we eat, especially.
Yeah,
the American people can be beneficial.
Like food deserts. Man. Food deserts are like real bad. Like certain areas that are impoverished, like all you can go in that area is all they have is like fast food and stuff like that. They have no healthy options. Like, and then you go to the grocery store and you want to buy, good food, but in all reality, hey, that stuff like that A-peel stuff, the stuff that Bill Gates does. It's like a coating on the apples and a coating on the vegetables and stuff like that. That's not good for you. It's a carcinogen. And then, people were buying all that, the apple cider vinegar, and they were using that like as home remedies, to cure sicknesses and some of their tonics and whatnot. But now, I guess it was like Katy Perry or someone else bought that company, and they're now only using Bill Gates' apples, the A-peel apples. So now something that was being used to help people is now basically potentially carcinogen.
And I love all those videos they have online where they show like the same brands in America versus like in other countries, and you could physically see the difference, and then they'll read the ingredients to you, and then it's just like, wow, it's crazy. And I went to NMSU, and it's like an agricultural school is what they're mainly about. So I took an agricultural class, and we had some international students there, and they were saying like, it's just so crazy in America. We think it's the food. That's what one girl was saying. She's like, in other countries, we mainly eat vegetables and fruits, and then meat is like a delicacy. But here, all you guys eat is meat and junk food and candy and this and that. And it's like, it's no wonder you guys are having all these illnesses and cancers that like pretty much are only specific to this country or this region of the world.
Well, the one thing that stands out, that red dye.
Yeah, it's really bad for you.
Apparently it's been banned overseas for a number of years, but we're still giving it to the Americans.
It's so bad. When I used to be a server, anytime we'd have fruit punch that had really bad, like a really high concentration of the red dye, anytime it got on the table, we'd have to use a special chemical to wipe it off. And I remember I used it one time, and a customer was asking, "Is that what you have to use to get that off the table?" And I was like, "Yeah. Imagine what it's doing to your insides." And then she never drank red fruit dye again.
It's pretty sad how, you know, we have an organization, the FDA.
Yeah.
Right. You think you would have banned at least, I mean, that one red dye if it's so bad for you.
Yeah, and then you got to think about like all the companies right now that are basically like, you know, you got to look at your overhead. So if you buy in bulk, you get it cheaper. How long does it last for? Blah, blah, blah. So they're still probably stockpiled on a bunch of that shit. So like in all reality, like how fast can you say, hey, cut this shit out? Because at that point, a bunch of the companies are going to be like, well, this is a loss now. Like we can't even use this. So what are they going to do? How are you going to be able to say, okay, well, we're not using it?
Probably ship it to another country, you know? Like they always do whenever a medicine gets banned here or something. They're like, okay, just give it to Europe or whatever.
I mean, you should nail on the head. You know, they'd rather make a profit than, you know, feed the American population something that's safe. And
yeah, I saw something. I don't know how true it is, but I don't know if you want to like fact check me right now. But
pull up the ChatGPT.
There was this doctor that was talking about Ozempic the other day, and like Ozempic's being used like, you know, cure obesity and all this stuff.
Sure.
But apparently like that's like it's, I don't know if it's a Komodo dragon or like a venomous lizard. They get Ozempic from their venom. Yeah. And apparently it screws up your bone density. It screws up all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
That is just not good for you. But people are just looking at that like, oh shit, I'm fat, I'll take Ozempic. Okay, but hey, it's ruining your bones, it's ruining everything like that. Instead of like doing some jiu-jitsu, you know, running, enjoying life.
Yeah, think about that too. I mean, you can take it. Sure, you're going to lose weight, but if you don't change your eating behavior, you know, it's just going to go right back to the same thing once you stop taking it.
It's like diaper butt with the chicks that get the BBLs.
Diaper butt.
Like, you know, yeah, it'll look good for like, you know, maybe a year. But hey, you ain't doing squats, you ain't doing, you know, leg presses, you ain't doing any of that. There's nothing to support it. So it's gonna look nasty. So it's just like the same thing, but from the inside out. Your body's just being ruined. And yeah, you might look good outside, but your body's just being ruined.
And I think that's where RFK Jr. is gonna, I think he'll educate more of the American people, you know, on healthy eating habits.
I like that picture where it's the presidential cabinet and they're eating McDonald's and RFK has like the chicken nugget in his hand. He's like, oh God.
See, and like Tulsi Gabbard, like I would have voted for her if she ran.
Sure.
Like she's down. She's a veteran.
Yep.
She cares about the people. And I would have voted for her. Like she's a legit candidate and she's very smart, but she went against her party. So then they shamed her. And then they even put her on that Silent Skies or whatever. It was a watch list.
Really?
Yeah, they put her on a watch list, flying and stuff like that. So now she's in charge of what's it called? I forgot what.
DNI.
Yeah.
Department of National.
Yeah, security or something like that.
Oh, jeez. All right. Yeah, you have to fact check me.
I was like, you're the SME here.
Yeah,
I was like, that's why we have ChatGPT.
Yeah, now she's the director of national intelligence.
There you go.
Wait, did you guys find the venom? I'm looking at this lizard on the TV and I'm like, was he telling the truth about Ozempic? Oh, it's real?
Told you, bro. Fact check me. I win.
Ozempic literally came from a monster.
Literally came from a monster, not alone. It's crazy because I love that now that they're talking more about the vaccine and whatnot. So I had this whole battle. I had to put like an exemption for my work because I didn't want to take it. And I was like 1 out of 7 out of like a large corporation or whatever that got it approved. And one of the things I was saying in there is like, dude, in 2019 of April, they had to change the definition of what a vaccine was because this is not your typical vaccine. Typically, a vaccine, they give you a small dosage of whatever it is so that way your body could develop antibodies against it. This is mRNA research, mRNA therapy, which basically means that they're really, excuse me, and you could fact check me on this, but the way I'm understanding it is that they're kind of manipulating your DNA. It's like DNA manipulation, and it's still very, very new, and it skipped a whole bunch of validation processes and whatnot. And because of the fear factor with the pandemic and the shutdown, they were just looking for any solution. And there was even a statement from the Pope acknowledging that they were using aborted fetus cells in the vaccine, and so it was just unethical on so many levels. But people always wanted to overlook that, and then they'd say like, oh, look at the science, look at the science. And I'm like, I'm looking at the statistics. Less than 1% of people under the age of 40 are dying from this, you know? And then when they're forcing kids at school to get vaccine, and then they're trying to say, oh, you're just anti-vaxxer, you probably don't have measles, this and that. It's just like, let's look at how this was made compared to all those other vaccines were made. Up until 2019, this wouldn't even be called a vaccine, you know? Yeah. So
that's why I completely agree with Trump. What he's doing is, you know, everybody in the military that refused to get the vaccine was essentially fired.
Yeah.
Right? So he's going back, hey, we're going to, if you want, we'll rehire you, we'll give you back pay, which is completely fair.
Yeah, and then they basically just came out with, I guess it's a study that shows that the vaccine, if you're pregnant, it passes through, I don't know if I'm saying the right word, the placenta, or, you know, and actually gets to the baby as well. And so I went deeper the other day and was like thinking about like, oh man, you know, cost of goods sold, overhead and stuff like that. And so mRNA basically, you know, duplicates and they're using that, and they're basically impregnating, or the ladies that are impregnated, say they're babies, say they get an abortion, like James said, they're using aborted fetuses to create that vaccine. Well, now this baby that's aborted fetus, it's got that vaccine. It's got the mRNA.
So 30% of the legwork's already done.
So it's already done.
Nice. Now the next baby will have 40%.
Yeah, so we can get it faster and easier, cut the costs, and do that stuff. That's my thought process on it. I don't know how factual that is or anything like that, but
yeah, that was an opinion, y'all.
Yeah, from like a business standpoint, if you can cut the costs and say like, all right, we don't got to harvest this in a lab anymore in animals, but we could just have a bunch of people, you know, boom,
sure,
they're doing it for us.
Well, that's a good thing. You can talk about your opinions now, right? You can say what you want to say.
We never stopped, really, to be honest with you. We consider ourselves the resistance.
Cancel culture was real.
Yeah. I remember when I was in, COVID was happening and I was in Chicago, and like they were putting the lockdowns. So some of my old business partners up there were like, they own restaurants. So we were at a restaurant eating, and it was during St. Patrick's Day. And so St. Patrick's Day is big in Chicago. So they paint the river green, the big old party. So I was like, oh, hell yeah, we're going to party tomorrow. But then everyone was like, oh, we're shutting down. So there was still some bars that were open. So we still went out, you know, had a good time. But then the following day, it was crazy. People were going to the grocery stores, and it was nuts out there. There was plenty of people like jacking stuff from old ladies. They'd have a grocery, not a grocery list, but a grocery cart filled up with all stuff. They'd come and jack it from them. You know, I had to help some old lady walk to her spot to make sure no one stole their stuff. But at that point, I was like, screw this, I'm going to Texas. So I was like, I'm going back, and I went to Austin. I got a spot out there for about like 4 months, what the lockdown was. And I remember getting on the plane and stuff like that, and no one was talking about masks at that point. So, you know, no one had a mask. And then when I get to Austin, I'd wake up and I'd go run and I'd go do stuff. And I remember being on the street, on the Capitol, on Congress, and basically running towards the Capitol, and it felt like I Am Legend. There was no one out there. And I remember some cops, they saw me running, and they came up to me, and they tried like talking shit to me, and I was like, 6 feet back. And I was like, you don't have a mask, don't talk to me. You know, like I kind of used it against them. Yeah. And like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm running, bro. And I'm social distancing. No one's around me. The only reason I'm not social distancing right now is because you're coming up and you're creating this problem. That's not even a problem in the first place. I'm just running right now. And it's really crazy that I was basically the only person out there running or doing anything. And Austin's an active place. You know, like you always see people on bikes. You always see people like running, swimming, doing everything. And there was no one out there. And I remember I went to go pick up some weed for my homie, and I was driving on the interstate, and there was nobody out there. It was like nobody. So I was just like, oh wow, this is like apocalyptic, you know? Because I was about to take a road trip with my ex-girlfriend at the time. We were about to go basically to Austin, to El Paso, Arizona, California, Oregon, Seattle, and then back down. And then her mom was the one that actually told me, she's like, they're going to shut the country down. And I was like, hell no, they're not going to shut the country down. And she's like, they're going to shut the country down. And literally they shut it down. So I was like, oh, damn, this is crazy.
Me and my wife used to get the bikes when it was, shut down. We'd go ride over, off Lee Trevino.
Yeah.
And there was, like you said, there was nothing. It was the weirdest feeling ever. Right?
Yes,
the
it's
only
like
ones in the
zombies.
streets. Like, wow, this is strange.
But at least in Texas, people were kind of going outside and whatnot. Because I remember I would go to New Mexico because I was still going to school at the time, but I lived in Texas, and I was a research assistant, so there were certain things I had to go to the office for. They gave me a little key and whatnot. But in New Mexico, they took that very, very seriously. Like, everything was shut down, and I think to this day they're still kind of recovering from that because a lot of businesses just went out. The mom and pop stores were done, and the only place you're allowed to go to are the big corporations like Walmart. And me personally, I loved that Walmart was 24/7. I can go there at like 2 a.m. and not be bothered. And then now it's like they shut off at 11, and it's just annoying. But
is it back open 24 hours a day?
I think only certain locations, but most of the locations here locally they close at 11.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so like the mask became a thing, and I remember going out there to Trader Joe's, and I just didn't wear a mask. I was one of those guys, and I remember just walking into Trader Joe's, and everyone was just like, and I was just like, oh man. And so then I was still flying to Colorado and to Chicago for business. So I was still taking the plane out, and then the mask thing started becoming real. So like they started giving me shit because I was wearing a mask. So I wore a ski mask one day, and I had like a straight up, and I had a mask right there, and I had my sunglasses on, and I was like, never in the history of America would it be okay to walk into an airport with a ski mask, another mask, and shades on, and them not question you. And then so they're like, sir, you can't wear that. I'm like, it's a mask. And they're like, you need to take it off so we can see who you're up. It's a mask. And I kind of made it a point. And I remember I went to the Virgin Islands. So we were I was in Chicago, and then I was going to go to a convention out in Boston for a cannabis convention, and I think they ended up canceling it or something like that. So I was like, oh shit, I'll just go to the Virgin Islands. My friend lives out there. So I went out to the Virgin Islands, and I remember getting on the plane, and everyone had their passport, their vaccine passport. I had a regular passport. And I got on there, and I was, talking to people on the plane, every normal day conversation. We get out, the National Guard's there, so then they line you up, and they're in there, everyone's like, bring out your vaccine passport. So like, I just was like, they're not gonna say no, I'm an American citizen, this is American territory, like I'm gonna get in. So I literally had my passport, and everyone's in line, and some people start seeing me just with my passport. They're like, hey, bring out your vaccine passport. And I was like, I don't have one. And they looked at me like, oh my God. And I was like, They
didn't deny your entry.
Whatever. No, they got me there, and they took me, like, there was three, I guess, National Guards people that grabbed me, and they took me to the back.
Really?
Yeah. And then they started questioning me, and they're like, you must quarantine, you got to quarantine. While you're there, I was like, I'm going to quarantine on the beach. Like, I'm going to, but where are you staying? I'm like, I'm staying at my friend's spot. I don't know where he lives, like, it's called like Chocolate Hill or something like that. I was like, I don't know where his address is, but that's the general vicinity. They're like, well, what's your full name and information? And I was like, you guys could take it all you want, but. And then so like when I got out, everyone was like looking at me. They're like, what did they do to you? I was like, oh, it was really bad back there. They forced me to take the jab, And they're like, really? And I was like, no. Like I didn't take anything, and like I didn't even get that. I never got a COVID test because they're poking your nose and God knows what, And I'd say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I think I'm more of a critical thinker.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I got so much pushback from everybody everywhere for not getting the jab and all that, and there was all these like little trend memes on the internet talking about, oh, the pure bloods or whatever. But no, it was bad because around that time I got the opportunity to train out in Vegas at the Apex Center and all these guys. It was pretty cool. But because I wasn't vaccinated, like it was always a hurdle, and I was forced to take those tests, which I think they have like a lot of aluminum in them or what. There's something about those tests where, in small doses, I guess it's not a lot, but it could build up, and you don't want all these buildup of aluminum and plastics in your body, whatever. But I just love the way people would backtrack, because first it came out with the shot and they said, oh, we're 100% immune and we're going to be safe and you're going to die. And it's like, okay. And then the boosters came out. And I was like, I thought you were 100% safe. Oh, no, it mutated and this is science. And this was like, okay. And then like now they're on their 5th, 6th booster, and then like all of them got COVID and this and that. And to this day, I haven't been tested positive for COVID. There's been times I was sick where I was like, I got the test and I was like, I feel sick, but I guess it's normal sickness. And then these guys all got sickness and all these other problems, and they're blaming COVID. And part of me is kind of like, is it really COVID or was it the vaccine? Like, you know, at some point, when do you realize that like maybe it wasn't as legit as they told you it was?
Yeah, they're saying long COVID is not like vaccine injury and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. Like we were sick as shit for his last fight.
Oh yeah,
like,
the fight that I had in Arizona.
Bad. We thought we had COVID.
We didn't want to say it, but I thought we were gonna have to pull. Like, and like it was so bad. Like normally we go to the hotel and we'll go out, eat and all this. We stayed at the hotel and like just slept, and I thought this guy was gonna die over here coughing up loogies and like.
I was waking up in the middle.
You guys are both sick?
We were both sick. Like I was sick first, and this was my last fight for the belt in Arizona. I was sick first, but I was like kind of just like, I'm fine, guys, I'm fine. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? And then we get there, and it was almost like I told him, I was like, I felt like you took my sickness on for me, because like it was like a shift. Like I started to get better, and he started to get worse, and it was
and I was like, it was bad. Like I was waking up in the middle of the night, like, oh my god, fuck.
Yeah, it was bad. Like our one friend who came up to the fights, he come to our room and it was just nothing but like tissues everywhere and all this, and like he's just like, oh, you guys look like hell. And it's just like, you're gonna fight tomorrow? And I'm like, yes, I'm fighting tomorrow for the belt. Yeah, but
we still beat that guy's ass.
We still beat him, but it was definitely like one of those like. It was definitely like just putting on the show for the camera, and then like as soon as it was over, it was like, oh fuck, let's go to bed, dude. I'm tired.
Nah, as soon as it was over, we went and partied.
Oh, we definitely partied, but it was like it was like a woo, like you know, kind of deal.
Yeah, my friends own shout out to Varsity Tavern, Tempe. My friend JD, and he owns that bar. It's like a club bar out there on Mill Street, and they sponsored us, and so we went out there. They give us bottles and stuff like that.
Nice.
We had our own little section. Every time we go to Arizona, we go and make it a point to go visit out there, because they take very good care of us. Polo, shout out, my dog.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, they take good care of us. So.
You fought in Vegas yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I've trained there, but I haven't fought there. There's actually a local guy. His name's Andy Varela. He used to be a fighter and all that good stuff, and now he's like the head coach at one of the 10 Planet gyms out there. And what was that tournament? The
CJI?
CJI. He was on that tournament too.
Yeah, it was like $1 million tournament. It was like the first of its kind. Craig Jones. Yeah, wow. Craig Jones did it. It was respectable, because a bunch of jiu-jitsu athletes, they're not like, if you win ADCC, you get 10 grand, and that's like the Olympics for jiu-jitsu. And this guy, he on the same day did a tournament, basically, that there was 2 brackets, and he had some super fights on there, and the winners won $1 million. So it's kind of like boosting the sport of jiu-jitsu, stuff like that. I know they want to get jiu-jitsu in the Olympics, but there's just some problems with that. You got to have a rule set, and then you got to do testing. And a bunch of the jiu-jitsu guys, like, they're juiced up, because some of them are older, and so it's like necessary. But then some of them, say like a Gordon Ryan, and then you have the Rotolos on the other end of the spectrum. They're 2 twin brothers. They're really good, and they're like against it, and Gordon Ryan, and then they're all for it, So it's just like kind of like a split in the community right now on that, because you got people that are testing clean, and then people that are basically on it competing against each other. So strength does play a big factor in that, and obviously like aggression and stuff like that, and drive, and so there's a big debate. But I saw that they're trying to have like the doped Olympics, which would be sick, which is basically where every athlete's on gear. And
really?
Yeah, every athlete. And that basically they just want to see how badass a human can perform, which I think would be cool. Like, I think personally, like, I'm like, shit, like, if everyone's on it and you got, man, like, more power to you. You guys are like all shaking hands on that. Dude, that's awesome. That's like, we can see how fast, like, how much faster can they run? How much higher can they jump? Like, what can they do better? And like the Tour de France, like those guys, they have to be on it.
What was that champion's name? Armstrong.
Yeah, and then they took away his title, and he's like, dude, like, look at the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th place. They were all on it too.
It goes all the way down to like 90th place or something like that. Like they went back, and They retested all it. But then there's that. Have you guys seen Icarus?
No.
It's a documentary. It's on. I think it's on Netflix. It's a guy that does. He's like a scientist. He's like a mad scientist, and he was a Russian, like the performance like specialist. So basically, he was talking about how people cheat the system, and like the whole premise is this guy wants to do a Tour de France thing, like sort of like that, and he takes it without gear, and then the next time he takes it with gear, and this guy's giving him the protocol to do it, but he basically narked on the Russian national team, and they got banned from competition from the Olympics. And then he fled to the United States because he was like, about to
kill him.
Yeah, he's about to get taken out. So yeah, he dipped out, and then this documentary came out. It's pretty insightful. Has a bunch of crazy things.
And now America's winning everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ton of good stuff.
Right.
And what was he that's coaching?
It was well, he was like just a performance like
okay.
like, but it's called Icarus. So all the Olympic national team for Russia, he would do their blood work. He'd do everything like that.
There's a couple from Russia, right? They were like the world famous gymnastics coaches, and they fled to the U.S., right? And then they built up the Olympic team here. Right? But given the opportunity, they'd send over the KGB or somebody and offer this too.
Yeah.
They're losing gold medals for Russia.
Kind of reminds me like after World War II, and then all those Nazi scientists that just got snatched up, and then
that's what I was thinking of too.
And now
NASA.
we have like NASA and all this other stuff, and then people are like, "Oh, those Nazis were bad," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, thank our space satellites and all this to the Nazi scientists."
That's funny.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, they all came over here. A bunch of them came over here.
It wasn't just America. I think all the countries kind of snatched
them up.
Yeah,
it was like a draft pick.
Right.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Yeah. Now, if we're talking about conspiracies, I heard some crazy conspiracies where like a lot of, I want to say it was even Pfizer, like they accused a lot of these like big pharmaceutical companies that have been around for like a long time. They knew about the concentration camps, and they were like basically paying the Nazis to test out their product on the captives, on the Holocaust.
With all this stuff's going on these days, I mean, anything's possible.
Oh yeah.
I would think.
Hopefully we see a bunch of shit coming out.
All that stuff that's, that comes out. Like you said, Kash Patel hopefully releases some of that.
That guy's gonna go in hopefully. Hopefully he does what he says he's gonna do. That'd be cool. But I just want to see this shit happen, man. I want to see their faces and all that.
Well, I think the American public is deserving to know.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Some stuff.
It's fair.
I love that we were watching the podcast with Joe Rogan, and he was interviewing, what's that guy's name, Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
And he was basically saying, it's funny how all these people who are part of the previous administration of propaganda and lies are now backtracking and say that they were forced to do these things, and now they're just one of the good guys, right? And then Joe Rogan looks at him, and then you see Zuckerberg like, yeah, we're good guys. And it's kind of like, well, if they're going to play ball, whatever, but it's kind of like, the lies were just so blatant, and then now they're just starting to be revealed, and
he switched teams real quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Zuckerberg.
real quick. Yeah. And now he's doing jiu-jitsu and at the UFC, training with these. So like he's, he went full right, I guess. But we'll see what happens. All that censorship shit.
I mean, they were the worst culprit with censorship.
Oh, it was bad. It was real bad. Real bad. Yeah, there's that guy that I guess how they did Meta. Well, they bought the Oculus Rift. The guy who created the Oculus Rift, he was part of their company, and then they got acquired, and they changed it to Meta, and he was still working for them, but then he got fired for like his views, I guess, because he was leaning right, so they fired him, and now he works. He's doing trying to do exoskeletons and stuff like that for the Navy SEALs. Which I saw it on the Sean Ryan podcast. His last name's Lucky. I forgot what his first name is, but he's talking about a bunch of cool shit that just wow. And then he's talking about how you guys have night vision, and it went from green to white, and it's still, he says it's still basically the same tech from years ago. So he's trying to basically get a full helmet that you could put on and say, oh, drones are coming this way at this point. If you run this way, you're gonna get taken out. So you gotta leave right now and go this way, and give you a route of escape. And then basically he was talking about how Face ID is not say we all go in, we're all wearing our mask and we're kicking the door, and it would have all the Face IDs. So if you're gonna get a hostage, it's catch or kill. Basically, and you're taking out the hostage, You go in there. He was saying that facial recognition isn't that good. That basically he would have it so, okay, well, this person is this height. He weighs about this much. So basically break down the person to their attributes. So you can say, all right, and then they'll go in and they'll be like, oh, well, this person hasn't moved from this room. So more than likely this is where the hostage is at. So he's doing some good stuff, and he's talking about exoskeletons, how he has something that was like plug in right here and it plugs in right here, and that there's basically millionths of a second, there's a lag in between your brain and say your trigger finger or anything else like that, that this will create no lag. Like it'll be instantaneous. And then he was talking about how exoskeletons are going to be a thing, like basically like they can run faster, not get tired. Like say you got to scale a building, elevators down, you got to run up 10 flights of stairs, 20 flights of stairs. This exoskeleton allows you to do it like boom, nothing.
Wow.
So like, yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Technology is just moving so rapidly. It reminds me of like, I don't know if you guys seen Black Mirror on Netflix, but basically it's kind of like the most recent Twilight Zone, right? You guys seen that?
Yeah, Twilight Zone.
It's like the most recent version of Twilight Zone. And so they have all these different technologies. And like, for example, one of my favorite episodes is behind your ear, there's this recording device and it records everything you see and hear, and you could play it back on like a TV or whatnot. And then it goes down to a couple, and then like basically with cheating is involved and all this, and like play back all your videos and all this and that. It's just like, and I think the message behind it is that technology is moving faster, but are humans maturing enough to actually take control of this technology in a positive way, or is it just going to be destructive?
I would say it's going to be destructive.
Yeah, he was talking about like robots taking over and shit, and he was saying a tier 1 operator is always going to be the robot if say they have all those extra like the exoskeletons or like the extra like gear that can be built for a specific human, just because of the capacity of the brain, like to make a quick judgment call and decision whether this like that the robots they're not gonna be able to be programmed accordingly to actually make that decision and make it in a timely fashion. Like tier 1 operators are always going to be the best.
I think the biggest debate now is what is consciousness, because the rate that AI is going, like at some point people are arguing that it's going to create its own consciousness and it'll be like its own separate entity, and it'll be almost like Terminator kind of thing.
So AI, it doesn't initiate with somebody inputting. Like
that's how they started.
That's how it starts, right?
That's how it starts. Basically, like you could type in stuff like ChatGPT that we're using right now. He's a big contributor to the AI. James over there.
I use it for everything.
He teaches the robots a lot.
But I mean, couldn't you like make it biased? Like
Correct. You could program it to do all sorts. And you know what's funny? There's videos on where they're testing it from the previous administration till now, because the responses are just a little more tailored towards like the current environment. And I guess it is all based on what's inputted in it, because the AI, like for example, ChatGPT, when it first came out, it was everything on the internet up until I think like 2001 or something like that. So of course, and now AI, it's real time and it's connected to the internet like real time. So whatever information is being fed, that's the information it's going to use to process. And so there are a lot of debates that people say that AI is eventually going to cap, because you see a lot of content nowadays where it's just, you could tell it's AI. They're using the same words like multifaceted, fostering, and then if it's learning from each other and with no human input, it's gonna get capped.
Yeah, it's tripping up itself basically. It's like it can't even tell if it's real or not. And it's like, oh, that's AI shit.
Well, and we were just talking about this before the cameras came on, where basically like this is another conspiracy theory. I've been throwing them a lot out there, but there's a conspiracy that the reason why that strike was happening with all the actors in Hollywood about AI and all that, it wasn't only because of the screenwriting, because now you could just tell AI, like, make me a cool script, and it could come up with something and you could just proofread it. They were saying that they were actually taking the likeness of the actors and their voices, and the actors weren't even actually in the movie. It was all just digitally put in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe sketchy. I think like it all depends on the programmer basically. Like so, like say you get a programmer, like you could get a programmer that's not for any of that, but they're just the right person for the job. How are they going to program it to like the needs and stuff like that? Like, is there going to be a bias?
I think it can assist in helping, but like you said just a little bit ago, the human being is going to make the best judgment calls over any type of robot or mechanism that tells you what to think. You know, I think it can assist.
We gotta hope so, man.
That way.
If it doesn't develop its own consciousness and become like Skynet or something, where it's like, oh, humans, we need to control you this much because you're overpopulating, and you can only eat this food because it's the most healthiest for you, and you know this is the most logical thing to do. But humans have emotions and all this other factors that play in. And then the question you asked is what we thought about AI and Border Patrol and technology there. I always think that any sort of technology, it can be used for good or bad, you know. The same knife that can cut a cake can slice a throat, you know. And it just comes to the user of how we're going to use it. I guess now it comes to a problem of regulation with the AI, because what if the AI, even if it's not consciousness, but they become super policing, and now they've just infiltrated all our technology, our cell phones, our cameras, because we now live in a world where everything's surveillance. Everything is surveillance, and if you have an AI connected to everything, now it's you won't be safe anywhere.
It's like Minority Report.
Even that movie Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf, where they were able to, like, they were in a silenced room with no technology, but they were able to get the vibrations off of the water in the room just to see the voice modulation. Like, it's just crazy things like that you could do, that the sky's the limit.
Well, and you said going back to what you said about feeding the information, right?
Yeah.
Imagine how different the technology is going to be if you got the Biden administration versus Trump's administration, what it's fed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be
I think, you know, like, you kind of want to have someone that's level middle tier, like kind of like really like not biased towards any side.
Oh, now that comes to a question, because now it's like black and white, and what's acceptable in society changes over the years. You know what I mean?
Really quick too.
Very quickly. You know what I mean? Like,
Real
skinny
quick.
jeans are in and now they're out. Like,
Yeah.
it's like what becomes like ethical at that point?
Yeah, so it's kind of
the
scary.
whole, like you said, like for instance, DEI, right? Now it's not the thing, right?
Oh yeah.
I had always said, I always kid around with my wife, like, you know what, DEI, seriously? I mean, the basketball teams don't go off of DEI.
No way.
They're not going to say, let's get that short white guy over there to play basketball. That's not going to happen. They're going to take the best individual that's performing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always black dude. It's fastest. You can dunk.
I saw something online where I think it was in California, they were enforcing DEI for like firefighters, and they were just so upset because it was just like, do you really want someone who's disabled and overweight or whatever the case may be to come rescue you from a fire, or do you want a person who's ready for the job
Absolutely.
and fit for the job, you know? And so it is like one of those.
Yeah, and I
touchy
think the
subjects.
police or the fire chief out there, it was a female, right? And then there's all these fires. Not saying that, you know, females.
I was like, what are you trying to say, bro?
I'm just saying.
It sounds like you're
Basically,
patronizing us.
that was a DEI hire that really wasn't suitable for the job. You know, like I said, you know, Tulsi Gabbard, all day, I would have voted for her. She's a boss. She would have done good
Because
things.
she's good.
Yeah,
Right?
but
Not because she's a woman, right?
Yeah, because she has the credentials.
Oh man.
You know, so it's like,
I guess I'm gonna call out Caesar because, like, okay, so Caesar, we talked about him. He was my old coach. Like, he was the first fight I ever had. He was in my corner. He lives in Colorado now. I went to go visit him, and we had this huge debate. And then like, it was like, anything a woman could do. I mean, anything a guy could do, a woman could do better, and this and that. And then I like the way he explained it. He's like, I don't like to think of it as like a woman, a man, black, white, this and that. I like to think, who's the best person for the job? And he's like, okay, you have me and James here, or James and I here, and then we have you two. Like, we're much taller than you, we're much heavier than you, much all this and that. If someone were to come in this door right now with a gun, like, who are we all gonna look to defend us? Are we gonna look to you, the smallest girl in the room? And she was like, no, not me, hell no. Like, I'm not with her. Like, I agree with what you guys say, is like, it's whoever's fit for the job, you know?
Absolutely.
yeah, it's gotta be fit for the job. You gotta, like, the credentials gotta fit the position.
It goes along any type of hiring practice. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want PD to hire somebody just because they're based on their skin color.
I know.
You want the best of the best. Go
Yeah.
out and protect them.
I was like, I feel pressure to say something now because they're gonna be like, they're like, what you got to say about it now? And I'm like, I was like, well, affirmative action. It's like I think of it like this, like, of course, like, you know, I know a lot of people like to be like, let's just talk about like the Jim Crow laws. Like, yes, slavery ended a long time ago, but Jim Crow laws didn't really end till like the 60s. And so we still have people like, for example, my parents and their generation, like, they lived through that, blah, blah, blah. And so I could see how at the time affirmative action was needed to stop people from just like, you know, just because it's a law that racism's not a thing no more doesn't mean that they're not going to hire you or discriminate against you, whatever. I would like to think that we've now progressed to a spot where, you know, it's more accepting and that people aren't just hiring based off of color or this and that, and they're hiring based off of skill set. But, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm wrong.
It makes common sense to me. I mean, if I have a company, I'm going to hire the person that's the best. I don't care if he's black, white, purple, pink.
It doesn't matter.
Just the best.
If they do the job and they do it the best, hire them.
Andy Murray, he was been joking about myself and him playing a match, and I'm like, Andy, seriously, like, are you kidding me? Because for me, tennis and men's tennis and women's tennis are completely almost two separate sports. So I'm like, if I were to play Andy Murray, I would lose 6-0, 6-0 in 5 to 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, because it's true. It's true. It's a completely different sport. The men are a lot faster. And they serve harder, they hit harder. It's just a different game. And I love to play women's tennis, and I only want to play girls because I don't want to be embarrassed. I would not do the tour. I wouldn't do Billie Jean any justice. So Andy, stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you kill me.
Well, I think it goes right in line of what's going on today with what we just overcame, was allowing biological males compete in women's sports.
I think there was just so much confusion that was put up in the air that like really distracted people from the real issues. And I think that was one of them, about the whole, like, what is a woman? What is a male? What is this? And it's kind of like, your biology is this. And you know what I mean? And it's like, was it Venus or Serena Williams? Serena Williams said it right. It's just like biologically speaking, it's like there are some species, like let's say for example spiders. The female is the more dominant in the spiders. Like they're larger, they're bigger. The male spiders are tiny, and like this, it's just how it is biologically speaking. And so I think when they try to throw those wrenches in there, it's really just to distract us from what's really going on. So that way, and I think that's what I like about what we're talking about, all this exposing right now. It's kind of like, hey, while you guys were all trying to figure out what a woman was, they were stealing billions of dollars doing this, that.
Yeah,
you know?
taking mad money.
Yeah.
Your taxpayer dollars too.
And I try to tell a lot of people, I was like think about it logically and don't get your emotions involved. And it's like, I'm not thinking emotionally. And it was like, dude, like think about it logically. Like we all know what a woman is. We all know what a man is. Like, you know what I mean? Like who you care to sleep with or whatever is your prerogative, but like you were physically born like this, you know what I mean? And you could do altercations to yourself to make you look a certain way or whatever, but that your biology is still going to be this, you know?
They're even saying, you can bring the hormone levels of a biological male down so much, but they still have the advantage. Bone
density, mass,
right? Size, it's just not the same.
Oh, like that one fighter. Oh, it was a boxer now too, because it happened in MMA and boxing.
And in boxing, they just did it in the Olympics too. Yeah, that dude was beating up chicks.
Yeah, set world records.
Yeah.
Well, they just had one up. They just had one for pole vaulting, and I think the difference between the first and second place was like almost a foot.
Wow.
That's
crazy.
Yeah, it's a little excessive.
Very.
So I'm definitely glad that the Trump administration is moving towards getting biological males out of women's sports. I mean, we fought for that, to have women's sports.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Right? And you go back and allow males to compete in it.
And beat everyone. That's horrible.
Right. I saw the controversy with Maine, the Maine governor.
What happened?
They had a governor's meeting at the White House, and Maine is not complying with the executive order to, not allowing biological males in women's sports. Wow. And the governor was right there, and she said, "We're still going to comply with all federal and state laws." And Trump's like, "Well, we are the federal law, and we're telling you can't." She's like, "Well, I'll see you in court." Right, so they're trying to fight it,
Well, if court goes in, we'll see what the court of law says.
Trump's like, that's fine. He's like, that's an easy win for us.
Oh.
He's like, and by the way, good luck with your political career after that. You won't get elected for anything, Trump.
You got to follow the science, trust the science.
It's just crazy when you see these stories online of the places that have like the furries, where like the kids identify as like cats and dogs and whatnot, and
they have litter boxes.
They have litter boxes in the schools, and like
yeah,
we had a friend of ours who was telling us where like his son got in a fight at school with the furry, and they tried to say it was a hate crime, and then like they went up to
what is a furry?
A furry is a kid or a person that identifies as an animal, and there's like a whole another section of furries that's like kind of, weird, and like they'll even fucking bang and be wearing like bunny suits and stuff like that. But like these kids nowadays are identifying as cats.
And they have schools that accommodate for their cat-like behavior by putting litter boxes.
Yeah.
And so
litter boxes.
Our friend his son got in a fight at school, they tried to say it was a hate crime because he's a furry, and they were gonna like press like real serious charges against him. And they said, okay, well, your child's a cat. Well, in the state of blah blah blah, when a cat attacks a human, we put them down and we test them for rabies. So what are we gonna do? They dropped all charges.
Yep.
It's like,
yeah, it's like, what are you guys gonna do? And that's the best way to do it, is to use their own bullshit against them. You're just like, all right, you're a cat, you bit me. We need to now check if you have rabies.
and the only way to check is if we put you down.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Like we have in New York. Hello, Governor. Nice to see you back there. 2 weeks ago, I signed an executive order banning men from playing in women's sports. Many Democrats are fighting me on that. I hope you continue, because you'll never win another race. That's the only thing we're checking. Are they receiving it? Because if they're receiving it, that makes it much worse. If they're not... Is Maine here, the governor of Maine?
Down here,
Are you not going to comply with it?
I'm complying with state and federal laws.
We are the federal law. Well, you better do it. You better do it, because you're not going to get any federal funding at all if you don't. And by the way, your population, even though it's somewhat liberal, although I did very well there, your population doesn't want men playing in women's sports. So you better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding.
See you in court.
Every state, good, I'll see you in court. I look forward to that. That should be a real easy one. And enjoy your life after governor, because I don't think you'll be in elected politics.
He's a savage. He gets down.
We're living in scary times.
I mean, what blatant disregard and disrespect. I mean, you never heard anybody talk to Biden like that. You know?
Well, it's because he couldn't talk.
True. I mean, he's the president of the United States, man. Show some respect at least. You know?
It's just wild to me because it's all just so wild. I forgot what I was even going to say. I'm just shocked.
Yeah, it's a blatant disregard for executive orders. I mean, that's law, right? He signs an executive order. That's across the board. Done.
We'll see what happens.
Comply or don't get any federal funding. I think there's like $20-some million up for funding from the federal government for the schools up in Maine, and they'll cut it off.
Did you hear about the transgender affirmation care?
No.
So you guys can fact check me if I'm wrong, but how I was understanding it, then I think like states like California were really enabling and enacting it, enforcing it, was that if your child goes to school and says that they're confused about their gender or their whatever, this and that, you as an adult, as the parent, have to put them through whatever transition that they request, even at like 5 or 6 years old. So if your 5-year-old son comes home and says he's a girl, you better start giving him some sort of hormone therapy treatment or whatever to help him in his transition, or else you'll basically be given up to the CPS.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I think the teachers didn't have to tell, like, say they said, oh, our parents don't like vibe with that or see what we're saying. I don't think the teachers, like, they would tell the teachers, and I don't think it was required that the teachers tell the parents anything.
Wow.
Yeah, because just my opinion on it is just like, dude, they're children. They don't really know, like, you know what I mean? Whatever, and let them figure it out on their own and kind of thing. Weird. It's just, I just feel like it's very indoctrinating to the children.
You can't get a tattoo at the age of 5 and be like, oh, I want a Pokemon tattoo right here. You know, like, you can't do that. Like, they're like, oh, well, you know, we gotta affirm that and give them his Pokemon tattoo. No one's gonna do that.
Like, it's a different story if it's like they're 18, they want to, okay, you want to do this, you want to go through hormone therapy, you want to date whoever you want, that's your prerogative now. But like, you're still a child. Like, you can't even drink. I want to say it was in California.
I think it was.
It's like, Jamie, no, like, are they pulling it up?
No, I believe it was in California, and I believe it was a law. They made it a law. They, like you said, the teachers don't have to
say anything,
relay to the parents, anything.
Because I know that going back to vaccines, they did the same with the vaccines. The kids could just talk to the school and they can get vaccines there without telling their parents. And it's just like, that's horrible. It is horrible.
It's really
like,
bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Gender affirming care, huh?
Yeah,
Could you zoom in just a little bit? All right. What is gender affirming care? It's a supportive form of healthcare. It consists of an array of services that may include medical, surgical, mental health, and non-medical services for transgender and non-binary people. For transgender and non-binary children and adolescents, early gender-affirming care is crucial to overall health and well-being, as it allows the child or adolescent to focus on social transitions and can increase their confidence while navigating the healthcare system.
Yeah, but that just goes back to like the healthcare. They're like kind of, it's like a wheel. So like you're gonna get on, now you're gonna have to pay us for hormone therapy. Then you're gonna have to pay us for the surgery. Then you're gonna have to pay us for this. Then you're gonna have to pay us for that. So it's like, it's a cycle. It's kind of like what they're doing with the food too. Same thing. It's like, all right, well, we're gonna feed you guys this, and it's gonna give you this. So then you have to buy this. Yeah. But this isn't a cure. This is just a Band-Aid. And then you're gonna, it's just like, it's kind of just making you customers, constant customers. And a bunch of that money, you know, like for the Biden administration came from the government too. So it's like, if I had a gravy train, you know, and I was like, I'm getting all these grants from the government for this, this, and this, like shit, how am I gonna get more money in the future? Oh, I'm gonna make more customers. These other customers right there, they're at a young age, and that means the life cycle of the customer is gonna just be longer and longer. That means more money coming in as long as we continue to get these grants.
Yeah, especially if we make it a law.
Yep.
You know?
I was hearing too that they were having an issue with that in the military, and when they made that statement that they're no longer going to allow they're not going to pay for transgender transitions in the military, and there was like a huge uproar. I was reading a lot of the people's comments that they were saying, and a lot of people were saying that it has nothing to do with their sexual preference or their identity or this and that. It's just the soldier now has to go through these extensive surgeries and also on a lot of medication that they probably won't have access to if they get deployed. And so then that effect, they're kind of like a defective
Pointless.
soldier.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm sure there's a bunch of office jobs they could do here and there, whatever, but I think the whole goal is to make effective soldiers. And so, and just reading the gender affirming care, I guess, because, you know, when there's always politics stuff, there's always just like, oh, that sounds good, and this and that. My only issue with it is like, don't be forcing it on people. Like, if that's their personal choice, that's their personal choice. But why do you have to force parents to go to CPS if they're not condoning with this sort of this viewpoint?
There's actually a lawsuit going on in the prison system. I want to say it's California. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, they were paying for that too.
Well, right? Yeah, not only are they paying for it, but there was a biological male in a female's prison, right? And the biological male was in a cell with a woman.
He knocked him up, didn't he?
I don't know if he knocked her up, but he continued to rape her. And now she's suing the prison system, which I'm more than certain she's going to win, because they cited some law that it says you can't be just throwing males into a female.
Right,
system.
Because another thing is like just your identity on who you are, male or female, still doesn't go with your sexual preference. Like, you know what I mean? That guy could still be like, oh, I'm a female,
sure,
but I like other females. And it's just like, so you're still going to be an endangerment to these females at this facility, regardless of what your identity as a human is. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I'm seeing it.
You know, back to the whole main sports thing. You don't even have to have, they were talking about this on the news, you don't even have to have a lower testosterone level or hormone level. You just have to identify. Like someone just has to say, you know, I'm a woman now, and they accept it. So now they can play in sports, which is obscene.
Yeah, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
Imagine having a little girl and being like, hey, you worked very hard for this. You're about to, look, Dad, I'm going against Billy over there. Billy's jacked. No, his name's not Billy. Your name's not Billy no more. Your name's not Billy.
It's Billy Joe.
Billy Joe, yes.
Billy Joe Lane. You know,
and we're good.
They did a whole South Park episode on it, like way before this was. And then I don't know if you guys have seen it. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, where basically it's like this like dude, he's all like buff and roided up, and he puts on a wig.
I think it's Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a female now.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Yeah, it was the Ultimate Warrior. I think it was
Really?
one of those. It was one of those two that was there. Yeah, man, South Park does great work.
They're ahead of their times.
Oh, they've always been.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right.
We're gonna get so much pushback on this.
Well,
I was like, the topics just got deeper and deeper and deeper, and it's just like
we could probably go on and have an whole episode on just this.
I know. We told them, we were like, what are we gonna talk about? I was like, conspiracy theories, and then it just got more and more and more, and it's like, you know, there's at a certain point people, you know, when you attack people's belief systems, it's violence.
All right, James, thank you for coming out.
No problem.
I truly appreciate you guys' input, and conversation and everything.
Yeah, it was a good conversation.
Everyone, we'll see you next time.